Welcome back to Cybersecurity Unmasked podcast by IT BizTech. This is episode 39. If you caught our last episode, Small Business IT Support, the 2026 Outsourcing Guide, we really got into the weeds of managing tech.
Oh, yeah, that was a fun one.
It really was. But today, our theme is a smarter cloud migration plan for Toronto SMBs. We are looking at our own comprehensive guide here at IT BizTech. And, we see this in the Toronto market all the time, but honestly, the lessons apply globally.
Oh, totally. The geography doesn't matter as much as the actual operational shift.
Right. And our mission today is to uncover the hidden costs, the exact steps to do it right, and, the massive pitfalls those shiny vendor brochures conveniently leave out.
Because they definitely leave a lot out.
They really do. So, get this. I want to start with a story from our guide. There was a marketing agency that moved 22 workstations from an on-premise server to Microsoft 365 and Azure.
Okay, pretty standard move.
Yeah, and it took about 12 weeks. On paper, it was a huge win. I mean, their monthly IT spend plummeted from like $4,200 down to $1,800.
Wow. That is a massive drop.
Right, and they gained real-time backups, total remote flexibility, and zero of that awful VPN lag.
The VPN lag is always the worst part of legacy systems.
Exactly, but here is the twist. Right in the middle of this migration, they lost 4 entire days of productivity, like 0 billable hours for 4 days.
Ouch.
Because a critical database hit this unexpected compatibility issue, and, nobody had tested for it.
What's fascinating here is that this outage wasn't really a failure of the technology itself, right? The cloud didn't break. It was a failure to understand that cloud migration is a transition. It's not a destination, and it's definitely not some weekend switchover. It is a major operational shift.
Exactly. So if you're eyeing the cloud for your business or your team, are you actually prepared for the hidden speed bumps?
Yeah, because before you even figure out how much it costs or, how to move, we first have to answer whether a business should even move at all.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Right.
Because I like to think of on-premise servers like buying a car, right? You own the maintenance, the oil changes, everything.
Right.
And the cloud is more like using a rideshare service. It's super flexible, but you pay for the trip. So when does it actually make sense to hail that ride?
Well, it makes a lot of sense if your server hardware is, say, 3 or more years old and approaching the end of its life. Or, if your staff works entirely remotely.
Yeah, that remote aspect is huge now.
It is. It also makes sense if your IT costs are super unpredictable, like spiking every time a hard drive fails.
Yeah.
Or if you're just scaling the business really rapidly.
But there are times when you should definitely just keep the car, right? Stay on premise.
Oh, for sure. If your core software has no cloud version, you're kind of stuck. Also, strict data sovereignty. Like if regulations restrict you from storing data outside controlled facilities.
Or if your office has terrible internet and no upgrade path.
Exactly. You can't rely on the cloud if your connection drops every 10 minutes.
But wait, let me push back on this a bit. What if a business just bought a brand new server last year, so they have this long amortization period, but suddenly all their employees go fully remote? Are they just stuck?
The classic sunk cost dilemma. That's a tough spot. But cloud adoption isn't always all or nothing.
Okay.
You can go hybrid. Keep the heavy proprietary databases on that shiny new local server, but move your email and collaboration tools to the cloud. You balance the sunk cost with the new remote reality.
That makes total sense. So if the framework points you toward the cloud, the next question is obviously the budget.
Always the budget.
Always. And the advertised price on the brochures is rarely the final bill. Like vendors advertise these cheap per user costs. Microsoft 365 Business Premium is, about $28 a user per month?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
So for a 20-person team, that's $560 a month. The math looks like an absolute no-brainer compared to maintaining a physical server room.
Right, it sounds like a steal. But the hidden reality is the one-time migration cost for that exact same 20-person SMB ranges wildly. We're talking from $7,300 all the way up to $21,500.
It's crazy. It's like buying a $30 gym membership, but realizing you have to pay a personal trainer $10,000 just to teach you how to open the front door safely.
That is a brilliant way to put it. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, you have to ask why there is a massive $14,000 gap between that low and high estimate.
Right. Where is that money going?
It entirely comes down to complexity. Moving simple email is cheap, Moving legacy databases with custom integrations, that's where it gets expensive. You have assessment and planning, which is $1,500 to $4,000. The data migration itself is $4,000 to $12,000.
And don't forget staff training. That's another $800 to $2,500, plus post-migration support.
Exactly. And the businesses that hit the high end of that bill without expecting it, they are always the ones who skipped a proper assessment.
Which perfectly sets up the 5-stage migration process our guide outlines to avoid being blindsided by a $21,000 bill.
You cannot skip these stages.
No way. Stage 1 is assessment. You have to inventory absolutely everything. Because I guarantee you'll find some undocumented legacy system that 4 people secretly rely on every single day.
Oh, there's always that one random spreadsheet running the whole billing department.
Always. Then stage 2 is planning. Figure out what goes first, last, or not at all. And you have to create rollback procedures.
Because if things break, you need a way to go back to how it was so people can actually work on Monday.
Exactly. Which leads to stage 3, migration. Do it in waves during low usage. And I cannot stress this enough, never migrate the whole business on a Friday afternoon.
It is the ultimate rookie mistake. You will ruin everyone's weekend.
You really will. Stage 4 is testing. And this doesn't just mean checking if the app opens. Have your users run their actual daily workflows, verify the performance matches, or even beats the on-premise speeds.
Because if a file takes 10 times longer to open in the cloud, your team is going to rebel.
Totally. And then stage 5 is optimization. But wait, so what does this all mean? I thought the whole point of the cloud was that it basically manages itself once you're in it.
That is the biggest myth in IT. The cloud provider secures the building, sure, but your specific environment needs active management. Here's a wild stat from the tech businesses. Exceed their cloud budget by an average of 17% in year 1.
17%. Just from what? Overpaying?
Yeah, from unused resources and oversized virtual machines. If nobody is actively managing the spend and turning off things you don't need, the cloud will just quietly drain your budget.
Wow. Okay, so even if you follow those 5 stages perfectly, the guide points out 4 specific landmines that constantly derail migrations.
Oh, the landmines are brutal.
Yeah.
Mistake number 1 is ignoring application dependencies.
Yeah, I look at it like a game of Jenga. Your CRM connects to billing connects to the bank connects to accounting. You pull out that CRM block and suddenly the accounting block just crashes to the floor.
That is exactly what happens. Mistake 2 is underestimating data egress fees.
Egress fees. So this is getting data out of the cloud.
Right. Putting data in is free. Taking it out costs real money. For example, moving 10 terabytes out of AWS can cost around $900. It adds up fast.
That's a huge hidden toll. Okay, mistake 3 is not training staff before you go live.
Which is so common. And untrained staff create massive security risks because they just invent workarounds. They'll email confidential files to their personal Gmail just to print something if they don't know the new system.
Which is terrifying. And that ties right into mistake 4, which is assuming cloud security is automatic.
This raises an important question. People think, well, my data is with Microsoft, so it's perfectly safe.
Right. But it's a shared responsibility model. It's like Microsoft provides the secure bank building, but you are responsible for locking your own safety deposit box inside it.
Exactly. The provider secures the infrastructure. You secure the user permissions. A single misconfigured SharePoint folder can expose your private files to the entire open internet.
Yikes. So, knowing all that, the final piece of the puzzle is deciding where to actually put your data. Our guide does a bit of a showdown between Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace.
They both have their strengths. Microsoft is usually better for professional services, finance, and legal stuff because of its deep Office integration and advanced security.
Right. And Google is typically better for heavy collaboration and just overall simplicity. But here's where it gets really interesting for our audience. If I'm a local SMB owner, is my data actually safer sitting in a tech giant's cloud or on a server in my own broom closet where I can literally physically see it?
I know it feels safer in the broom closet, but it's really not. Enterprise cloud infrastructure from Microsoft or Google is significantly more secure than anything a typical SMB could ever build.
Yeah.
I mean, they've spent billions on security.
True.
But, and this is a massive but, that is only true if it's configured correctly. Going back to that SharePoint warning, if you leave the deposit box open, it doesn't matter how secure the bank vault is.
That is such a crucial point. So just to recap the main takeaways for you today, cloud migration is not a magic button. It requires a ruthless assessment, mapping out your application Jenga tower, planning for hidden costs like egress fees, and actively securing your own data permissions.
Yeah, and I want to leave you with a final thought to ponder, kind of building on our talk about staff training and workflows.
Go for it.
If a lack of training on basic cloud tools can cause massive security workarounds today, how will your team's workflows handle the coming wave of AI-integrated cloud applications?
Wow. Yeah.
Like, is your foundation solid enough right now to support what is coming next? Because the tools are only getting more complex.
That is an excellent point to end on. You really have to get the basics right before you can layer AI on top of it. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Look at your own business's IT infrastructure with a much more critical eye this week, and we will see you on the next one.